Hi guys, welcome to Fierce and Pretty. Honey here. It's Friday afternoon. I'm already home, chilling at my PJ pants, taking it easy. I grabbed a seltzer, and I promised you earlier when I showed you my Thoth collection that I would show you all of my Thoth books. The first book that almost everybody recommends when talking about Thoth is Milo DuQuette's book. And I think there's a good reason for that. Still, probably the best tarot book I have read. I love the logic, I love how he explains everything, I love how the structure works, and I especially love the tables on, I've showed these in many videos, how to find on the Wheel of the Year each card, the majors, the minors, everything. I really love it. So Milo DuQuette's Understanding Thoth Tarot. And of course I think that if you take Thoth seriously, you should get the actual Aleister Crowley's Book of Thoth. I have to admit, I haven't yet finished this in total. This is a book that for a person that doesn't speak English as a first language, it gives a bit more challenge, but it is great. And the first part actually, in the beginning it went actually quite nicely, but this is a book that I'm going to read piece by piece, and I believe several times during my life. So that's why I think it's worth getting. And another great book, like if you want a book kind of like Milo DuQuette's book, you could get this instead if you wanted to. So this is the US Games book by Akron and Hajo Banzhaf. Not sure how to say those names, but you can look at them there. It looks kind of like a textbook, really organized, goes through the cards. This doesn't have the same depth as in total like the Milo DuQuette's book, but if you are more interested just about the card meanings, individual cards, then this might be your first choice. So either one of these could work, but I like this. This has so much more meat in it. But if you want to start simply by the cards, then this works. For more advanced Thoth studies, I still have to recommend Phyllis Seckler's the Thoth Tarot, Astrology, and other selected writings. So this book is divided in two sections: the Tarot Trumps of Thoth and Psychology, then Thoth Tarot and Astrology. So it goes through the major arcana with this psychology lens, and then through the minor arcana more through with the astrology lens, but it talks about the majors also there. But really, really, really exciting book. But I highly recommend if you're really into Thoth and Thoth studies. So Phyllis Seckler. Then kind of as a sidetrack, because studying Thoth takes you into so many rabbit holes after rabbit holes after rabbit holes. And one of them, after reading Milo DuQuette's book, was the rabbit hole of Kabbalah for me. And this is Robert Wang's book. I've just printed mine out because I found it online as a printable version because it was unavailable as a book anywhere. So this Robert Wang's book, I have made a video of this also, a separate video, but it talks also about other decks than just the Thoth. It goes through the Golden Dawn Tarot, Thoth, Rider-Waite-Smith, and Marseille. Really nice book if you're interested in Kabbalah, especially. And then two books that are Thoth books without being Thoth books. These are both from Meleen, and these are guidebooks for her own deck. So for the Rosetta Tarot, the book of Seshet, and for the Tabula Mundi Tarot, the book Liber Mundi. And because both of these decks are created based on the Thoth deck, so that's why these books can be used also to understand basic Thoth concepts, even though it talks a lot about the imagery in the Rosetta or in the Tabula Mundi. But she's brilliant. She describes so many things in so many different ways, and in this modern way. And I love Emma Meleen's take on this. And if we talk about her books, I also have to mention the Fortune's Wheelhouse podcast. You can listen to it even though if you're not into Thoth, but for a Thoth lover especially, and if you're diving deeper into all this, not only the card meanings, and you're diving deeper about Kabbalah and mythology and astrology, the podcast is amazing. So I listen to it on Spotify, and they have she and Emma Meleen and Susie Chang. They're just absolutely brilliant. So these are the Emma Meleen's deck, the Tabula Mundi, and this is the Rosetta Tarot. And I've made videos about these decks earlier. If you haven't seen, just show you quickly. This is the Tabula Mundi, this is the Rosetta, and they both are versions of the Thoth Tarot in their own way. So that's why I consider the books from Emma Meleen to work also with the Thoth studies. And the last sidetrack on my Thothy things is actually Milo DuQuette's deck, the Ceremonial Magic, and the guidebook that goes with it. So this just came out again. It was out of print for a long time, but now it's on print. And there's, if you look at the Magus card, if you are familiar with the creator of the Thoth Tarot, you might see something familiar there. And then finally, my Kindle books on the subject of Thoth. First, I have the Marcus Katz's Secrets of the Thoth Tarot. I'll try to show it there. So this is a 3-book series, and I only have the first on my Kindle now. And I like the way he uses the English language. It's easier to read than many of the Thoth books. It's kind of like conversational in a way, and it has these nice bits and pieces about how to interpret a specific card in a reading, for example, in a nice way. So it gives you fresh ideas also. So I think I'm only 60% ready with this book, but it goes through, so far we're going through Major Arcana. So I think, if I'm correct, the second will be on minors, and I'm not sure about the third. So how the book series continues and what is in what. I can add here some pictures. I'll try to look on these books. So what's the order, because I'm just reading the first part of it. But then on my Kindle there's also a lot of other stuff about Aleister Crowley and the biography and books by Aleister Crowley and things like that. And I do have a lot of Milo DuQuette's other books that I've, like the Chicken Kabbalah, both versions of it, still partly unfinished, but those are just the wormholes or rabbit holes that come after studying the Thoth. But these were my main Thoth books, and if I would have to recommend one for a beginner, it would be the Milo DuQuette's book. I use it as a reference book with the tables in every reading actually that I do, by picking the court card, checking the decanic minors for the querent, and so on. But if you have any questions about any of the books I showed, leave a comment. Or if you have a great Thoth book that you didn't see in my collection, also link down below, because I'm always eager to check them out. And even though I like having books in Kindle, having actual books is also kind of satisfying. But one thing actually that I learned from Kindle when I was reading this Marcus Katz's book on the Thoth Tarot, that I can underline here. I'm just showing you an example. And I didn't know, and I just did that, and I highlighted that section. Amazing! Yeah, I know, I'm old, but I got really excited when I realized that I can underline or highlight with my Kindle, because I mark in my books everything. I don't keep them nice and clean. I do symbols and write and whatever brain farts come out. So that was all from the Thoth study books and tarot books for this week. If you have any requests on the Thoth topics, if you wanted me to do a video on something, let me know. So far I've done many videos on the Thoth study series, and all of them have a different picture, the logo picture, so you can find them, and they are in a separate playlist. But I'm just, because it's Friday, I'm gonna pick you all one card from this vintage Thoth deck. This is the one that came with the 3 magus. And I'm going to pick you a card. So I guess it's time for all of us who are lucky enough that it is weekend, that we don't have to work. We can enjoy the fruits of our labor, have the lazy weekend, and move slowly, enjoy home, enjoy nature, look around a bit, not walk in such a hurry all the time, and maybe even go outside and look at the sunset. Eat good fresh food like the horse is doing. But enjoy. All is good. All is balanced. All is grounded. It's the harvest time. So go with the Knight of Discs and have a great weekend, guys. Bye.